Zrell Academy hung in space like a giant, gleaming diamond. Not that I'm poetic or anything, but even I, Kip'zar of the mighty Loxian Empire, had to admit it looked impressive. The most prestigious intergalactic school in 7 systems, and I was here because, well, of course I was. My species practically invented faster-than-light travel. Or at least, that's what I tell everyone. Move it, Kip. We're going to be late for comparative species class, and Professor Valen said we'd meet the new exchange students today, my friend Zrell shouted, his 4 eyes blinking in rapid succession. I sighed dramatically. Who cares? More boring species who think they're special because they've managed not to blow themselves up yet. But I followed anyway, slithering along the polished corridors until we reached the vast amphitheater. Most seats were already filled with students from across the galaxy, scaled, tentacled, gelatinous, crystalline, you name it. The usual cosmic menagerie. Professor Valen, a tall, 6-armed Galthian with skin that changed color based on her mood, currently an excited orange, stood at the center. Today we welcome 3 new exchange students. Please greet Moktal from the Andromedan cluster, Blix from the aquatic moons of Taraxia, and, she paused, her skin shifting to a slightly uncertain yellow, Jamie Bennett from Earth. A quiet ripple of laughter spread through the room. Earth? That backwater planet that had only managed to send 1 diplomatic ship into deep space? Pathetic. Jamie looked. Well, ordinary. 2 arms, 2 legs, bizarrely limited range of skin tones. This particular human had brownish fur on top and wore the standard academy uniform without any special environmental modifications. How boring. Prax IA, the 4-armed jock sitting next to me, leaned over with a snicker. Hey Earthling. Is it true your species only has 1 ship? Did they send everyone who could do math on it? More laughter erupted. The human just smiled, completely unruffled. Actually, Jamie said with a strange confidence, we figured quality over quantity. Why build 1,000 ships when 1 good one does the trick? Yeah right, I joined in, unable to resist. Next you'll tell us humans can breathe in space. Jamie just shrugged. Never tried. But I hear Loxians can't swim. Tragic limitation. My scales heated up in embarrassment as several classmates turned to look at me. Professor Valen's skin flashed warning red. That's enough. Now, exciting news. Next week we'll begin our annual field studies tour of home planets. Our itinerary includes Moktal's crystal caverns on Andromeda Prime, the floating cities of Taraxia, and yes, she paused as her skin cycled through several uncertain colors, Earth. The collective groan was audible throughout the room. Do we have to? Whined someone from the back. I hear they still use combustion engines, another voice called out. Jamie just sat there, with that same strange smile. Almost like the human knew something we didn't. I rolled my 17 eyes. A waste of time visiting that primitive mud ball. What could we possibly learn from a species with only 1 ship? The Academy transport ship hummed quietly as we journeyed toward the Sol system. Most students were buried in their info screens, frantically researching the planets we'd visit. No one bothered with Earth. Why waste brain power on a species that had barely left their own system? I heard humans still use water to clean themselves, Zrell whispered, his multiple eyes widening in mock horror. Like, actual liquid water. On their bodies. Prax IA doubled over laughing, all 4 arms clutching his torso. No way. That's barbaric. Hey Jamie, do you splash around in puddles to get clean? Jamie, sitting 3 rows ahead, turned around with that irritating calm smile. Actually, we've moved beyond water. Now we use the tears of alien bullies. Works wonders for the complexion. I snorted despite myself. The human had nerve, I'd give them that. 5 minutes to Earth orbit, announced Professor Valen, her skin a professional blue. Everyone to the observation deck for your first view. We clustered around the massive viewport, prepared to see a pathetic, polluted planet with primitive satellites. What greeted us instead made every jaw in the room drop, some quite literally to the floor, in the case of the Galatians. A massive fleet of sleek, almost predatory-looking ships hung in precise formation around Earth. They appeared suddenly, as if materializing from nowhere. But I thought. Prax IA stammered. Professor Vallon's skin rippled with amused purple patches. You thought Earth had only one ship? That, students, is their public diplomatic vessel. The only one they choose to show to the galaxy. This, she gestured toward the intimidating array, is their home defense fleet, equipped with advanced cloaking technology that, until just now, was hiding them from our sensors. Jamie finally let loose with a full-blown grin. Surprise. Our descent to the landing platform in New Chicago left us even more stunned. The city stretched upward with impossible towers that seemed to defy gravity, vehicles zipping between them in organized chaos. Everything gleamed with an efficiency that even my own homeworld struggled to match. Welcome to Earth, announced a tall human in a simple gray uniform as we disembarked. I'm Admiral Patel. We're honored to host Zrell Academy's students. Zrell leaned over to me, whispering, is this really the same planet that we've been mocking for the past month? Professor Vallon gathered us close. Students, Earth operates under 1 g of gravity, significantly stronger than most of your home planets. Normally, this would crush many of you. However, she gestured to small devices being distributed by smiling humans. These gravity adaptation units will help you adjust. So what? I tried to maintain my superiority. They live on a high-gravity world. Big deal. Jamie stepped beside me, casually lifting a cargo container that had to weigh at least 200 units with one hand. It means, Kip, that the average human is about 5 times stronger than the average Loxian. These adapters? They're actually dampening our strength so we don't accidentally harm visitors. Jamie winked. Still think we're primitive? For once in my life, I had absolutely nothing clever to say. Earth has many surprises, Professor Vallon continued, her skin now a respectful deep purple. Perhaps you'll learn that technology isn't always about what you show, but sometimes about what you choose to hide. This is the Global Defense Academy, announced Admiral Patel as our tour group entered a massive complex nestled between 2 mountain ranges. Where our soldiers train to defend not just Earth, but all our allies. The facility was unlike anything I'd ever seen. Vast chambers with gravity controls that shifted from barely their 0.1 g to a bone-crushing 3 g. In each section, humans, actual, ordinary-looking humans, were training. Watch closely, Professor Vallon instructed, her skin now an impressed teal. You're about to witness something remarkable. In the 2G chamber, humans moved with the same ease I'd struggle with under my homeworld 0.6 g. They lifted impossible weights, performed acrobatic feats, and sparred with a speed that made my eyes hurt. This is nothing, Jamie said casually beside me. Wait until you see the 3G chamber. As if on cue, a group of human cadets entered the highest gravity zone. By all laws of physics I understood, they should have been flattened. Instead, they moved with purpose, slower yes, but still functional. One female cadet deadlifted what had to be at least 800 units of weight. Impossible, whispered Zrell, all 4 eyes wide with disbelief. Prax IA had gone completely silent, which was a first. I couldn't let this stand. My pride as a Loxian wouldn't allow it. It's all technology, I scoffed loudly. Without your fancy gravity adapters, you'd be nothing. I bet in equal conditions, I could still outperform any human. The room went quiet. Jamie looked at me with something between amusement and pity. Care to test that theory? Admiral Patel asked, gesturing toward a training ring set to 1 g, standard Earth gravity. Absolutely, I declared, slithering forward with confidence. Jamie, care to defend the honor of your primitive species? Jamie nodded once, stepping into the ring. What followed was the most humiliating 3 minutes of my life. I lunged, I dodged, I used every combat technique my prestigious Loxian heritage had given me. Jamie simply waited. And then moved. So fast I couldn't track it. One moment I was preparing a sophisticated attack, the next I was flat on my back, staring at the ceiling, wondering what had happened. Humans evolved as pursuit predators, Jamie explained, helping me up with infuriating gentleness. We're not the strongest or the fastest at first glance, but we have endurance and adaptability that few species can match. We can run down prey that's faster than us simply by outlasting them. Admiral Patel stepped forward. Earth has a philosophy. We'd rather appear weak and maintain peace than appear threatening and create fear. Our one diplomatic ship? That was a choice, not a limitation. Professor Vallon's skin swirled with thoughtful patterns. Students, Earth represents a fascinating case study in galactic diplomacy. Rather than announcing their military capabilities, they chose to present themselves as non-threatening, focusing instead on cultural and scientific exchange. But why? Asked a genuinely confused Galatian student. Because, Jamie said quietly, in our history, the civilizations that proudly displayed their weapons were usually the ones that felt compelled to use them. Looking around the room, I saw my classmates regarding Jamie with new eyes. Not pity or mockery, but genuine respect. Tomorrow, announced Admiral Patel, will show you something even more impressive, our scientific division. For now, I believe you all have some preconceptions to reconsider. I certainly did. The planet with only one ship suddenly seemed like the smartest player in the galactic game. On our final day, Earth's Global Unity Center hosted a diplomatic reception that would have impressed even the snobbiest Galactic Council member. Representatives from Earth's various regions mingled with us students, answering questions with surprising candor. The architecture itself was a masterpiece, a floating platform above New Chicago with transparent floors revealing the bustling metropolis below. I found Jamie chatting with Professor Vallon and worked up the courage to slither over. I wanted to apologize, I said, my scales flushing an embarrassed purple. About everything I said. About humans. About Earth. Jamie smiled, that same confident smile that now made perfect sense. No offense taken, Kip. We're used to it. But why? Why let the galaxy think you're so limited? A tall human in formal attire approached. An excellent question, young Loxian. I'm President Nadia Jackson. Perhaps I can help answer. I nearly collapsed. The actual planetary leader, talking to me. President Jackson gestured toward a display activating behind her. Today, we'd like to show your class something few non-humans have seen. The holographic display revealed technologies that made my 17 eyes blink rapidly in disbelief. Clean energy systems that operated at 99.8% efficiency. Medical nanobots that could cure diseases my species still considered fatal. And most impressively, a propulsion system that bent spacetime in ways our theorists had only dreamed about. Your one ship could outrun our entire fleet, Zrell whispered in awe. But if you have all this, Prax IA asked, genuinely confused, why not show it off? You could dominate galactic politics. Jamie shook his head. That's exactly what we don't want. Earth's history taught us harsh lessons about power displays. We'd rather be underestimated than feared. We'd rather make friends than force compliance. Besides, President Jackson added with a wink, it's much more fun watching the looks on faces like yours when they realize their mistakes. During our return journey to Zrell Academy, the ship's social dynamics had completely transformed. Students who had never given Jamie a second glance now crowded around with questions. Zrell and Prax IA, once my fellow mockers, were now Jamie's biggest fans. Do you think we could visit Earth for holiday break? Zrell asked excitedly. There's so much more I want to see. I watched from a slight distance, still processing everything. Jamie caught my eye and motioned me over. You're not joining the fan club? Jamie teased. I'm still trying to understand how my species, which prides itself on intelligence, could have been so completely fooled, I admitted. That's the thing about appearances, Kip. The universe is full of surprises if you're willing to look past your first impressions. As we docked at the academy, news spread quickly about our Earth visit. In the main hall, I overheard a newly arrived Vorgan diplomat speaking to Administrator Trill. I don't understand why Zrell Academy wastes education slots on humans, the Vorgan sniffed haughtily. They barely have interstellar travel. I heard they only have one ship. Jamie and I locked eyes across the room and burst out laughing. Should we tell him? I asked. Jamie shook his head, still chuckling. Nah. Some lessons are better learned firsthand. Besides, I added with my first ever human-style wink, I hear Vorgans are visiting Earth next month. The diplomat was in for quite a surprise. And I, Kip'zar of the mighty Loxian Empire, had just learned the most valuable lesson of my academic career: never judge a species by their ship count.